Welcome to the course How to Export Practically. Chapter 2 Setting up Export Business. Export in itself is a very wide concept and lot of preparations is required by an exporter before starting an export business. To start export business, the following steps may be followed. Establishing an organization. To start the export business/startup, first a sole proprietary concern/partnership firm/company has to be set up as per procedure with an attractive name and logo. Any business or an enterprise must register legally under the Companies Act of 2013. There are a total of 7 types of company registration in India. Due to several options, it's overwhelming to choose the right kind of company registration. Types of companies and various company registration process. The businesses are classified into multiple categories based on size, the number of employees, liability, access to capital, etc., under the Companies Act of 2013. Types of companies based on size. Micro, small, and medium companies. Types of companies based on number of employees, private, public, and one-person companies. Types of companies based on control, holding, subsidiary, and associate companies. Types of companies based on liability, unlimited and limited by shares. Types of companies based on capital accessibility, listed and unlisted companies. There are 7 types of company registrations. Private limited company. Public limited company. Partnerships company. Limited liability partnership. One-person company. Sole proprietorship. Section 8 company. Private limited company. If you'd like to enjoy your company as a private entity, private limited company registration is an ideal choice. Usually, the shareholders take the responsibility of liabilities equally to safeguard their assets. In these companies, the net capital is the total shares held by each shareholder. Unlike many other companies, the private limited company shares aren't eligible to trade or transfer publicly. As per the Companies Act of 2013, an enterprise is said to be a private limited company if it meets the following criteria. It should consist of at least 2 directors and at most 15 directors. 1 director must be an Indian resident. The minimum and maximum shareholders of the company should be 2 and 200, respectively. It should possess a reliable capital fee of a minimum of Indian rupee 1,000,000. It should have a registered office address within India. Public limited company. Unlike private limited companies, the share of the public limited company can be held by the general public. It's established according to company law and can be traded on the stock exchange platforms without a hitch. These types of companies should register for the ROC certification before actively participating in any commercial activities. Partnership company. This type of company reflects sole proprietorship in several ways. However, the significant difference between sole proprietorship and partnership is the number of people involved. Partnership businesses consist of 2 or more people in which the responsibility of each member is stated in the agreement clearly. Meanwhile, the profits are also shared by the partners based on the agreement. In contrast, the partners are also responsible for taking up losses similar to that of profits. These companies can run their businesses even without a license if they have registered a partnership deed. The partnership companies are controlled under the Indian Partnership Act of 1932. Limited liability partnership. LLP is relatively a new trend where business assets are entirely different from personal assets and provide ultimate limited liability protection. In this company, the partners depend on the quantity of share capital to pay the liabilities. If you'd like to establish an LLP, one of the important requirements is that you must maintain a minimum capital of Indian rupee 1,000,000 with at least one of the partners from this country. One-person company. One-person company registration entered the Indian market recently. Most small businesses or startups run by a single person choose this kind of registration. Under this registration, the owners get liability protection, so they don't even require any partnerships. It's pretty easy to maintain, handle, and run as a single person controls each aspect of the business. In a nutshell, it's the blend of sole proprietorship and private limited company. The eligibility criteria to avail of this registration are: the minimum capital amount should be about Indian rupee 1,000,000. If you're into a finance business, then you aren't qualified to get an OPC registration, and the individual must be an Indian citizen. Sole proprietorship. The sole proprietorship is nothing but a company run by a single person. Usually, in sole proprietorship companies, the owner is responsible for all profits or losses. It's an individual company and pretty easy to set up the business. Mostly work from home or businesses run from home by a single person prefer this type of registration. Section 8 companies. These companies are most commonly known as NGOs or non-profit organizations that actively participate in charity works. The major aim of these companies is to encourage arts, science, education, safeguard the environment, and help the needy. The few conditions to get an NGO registration are: it must have at least 2 shareholders and directors. Public Limited Company. Registrar of Companies, ROC. Registrars of Companies, ROC, appointed under Section 609 of the Companies Act covering the various states and union territories, are vested with the primary duty of registering companies and LLPs floated in the respective states and the union territories and ensuring that such companies and LLPs comply with statutory requirements under the Act. Apply for DIN. The concept of a Director Identification Number, DIN, has been introduced for the first time with the insertion of Sections 266A to 266G of Companies Amendment Act, 2006. As such, all the existing and intending directors have to obtain DIN within the prescribed timeframe as notified. MOA and AOA of a company under Companies Act. A company must prepare certain preliminary documents before applying for company registration. The Memorandum of Association, MOA, and Articles of Association, AOA, are 2 such preliminary documents that every company must prepare. The MOA and AOA should be filed with the Registrar of the Companies, ROC, along with the Company Incorporation Form. The Memorandum of Association, MOA, and Articles of Association, AOA, define a company's scope of work, objectives, rules, and internal management. The MOA and AOA are 2 essential documents that are the basis of the company's constitution. They are indispensable, and the company's foundation stands upon them. Therefore, the founders of a company must draft them with utmost clarity and precision. Memorandum of Association, MOA, of a company. A Memorandum of Association, MOA, is a document containing details of the company's constitution and is the foundation of the company's structure. It is known as the charter of a company. It lays down the scope of the company's activities, objectives for which it is formed, determine the scope of its authority and its relationship with the outside world. The creation of an MOA is the first step towards company registration. During the formation of a company, the company members must subscribe to the MOA. Subscribing to an MOA means to put one's mark or signature on the document as attestation or approval of its contents. Articles of Association, AOA, of a company. The Articles of Association, AOA, of the company contains its rules or bylaws and regulations that control or govern the conduct of its business and manage its internal affairs. The AOA is subordinate to the MOA of a company and is governed by the MOA. Every company must have an AOA as it plays a vital role in defining its internal rights, workings, management, and duties. The contents of AOA should be in sync with the MOA and the Companies Act, 2013. Opening a bank account. A current account with a bank authorized to deal in foreign exchange should be opened. A current account is an account that is meant for businesses, professionals, trusts, associations, societies, institutions, etc. It provides the account holder with a wide range of benefits, including restriction-free deposits and withdrawals, a higher number of free checks available per month, convenient transfers and deposits in different branches, and even an overdraft facility. All this makes a current account a must-have for traders, businessmen, institutions, and professionals. Opening a current account is very simple. Many banks have a provision for opening the bank account online. Once the form is submitted, a customer care executive from the bank gets back to the customer to complete all further formalities. To complete the account opening, there are certain documents which are required. Once these documents are submitted to the bank, the account opening formalities can be completed, and the current account can be opened. Documents required for opening a current account. Here are the documents required for opening a current account. Proof of identity of the proprietor/trader/professional institution association, etc., such as the PAN card. Additional documents for individuals include voter ID, passport, and driving license. Proof of address for an individual, telephone bill, electric bill. Proof of the existence of the business. Obtaining permanent account number, PAN. It is necessary for every exporter and importer to obtain a PAN from the Income Tax Department. PAN card application can be applied online or offline. Further, requests for changes or correction in PAN data may also be made online. The online process is the most hassle-free way of obtaining PAN. The applicant is only required to fill and submit the online application form along with online payment of the respective processing fee. Copies of required documents can then be sent by post to either NSDL or UTIITSL for verification purposes. How to apply for PAN card online via NSDL website. Step 1. Select the PAN card application, New Pan Indian Citizen, Form 49A, available on the NSDL website. Step 2. Fill in all the details in the form. Read the detailed instructions before filling the details on the PAN card application form. Step 3. Pay the required fees. The PAN card application fees varies on the option you choose for dispatch of your PAN card. Payment can be made through credit/debit card, demand draft, or net banking. Upon successful payment, acknowledgement will be displayed through which you can check your application status. It will also be sent to your email ID. Step 4. Send the required documents through courier/post to the NSDL office. Only after the receipt of the documents, PAN application would be processed by NSDL. Once the NSDL verifies the application and documents, it will issue the PAN card in 15 days.